Hey, my name is PolishLynx, welcome to some more irae. You might know that or not, we carried unconscious Kasumi back home, that's right. Anyway, let's continue. I doubt that I even understood a tenth of what exactly happened to us tonight. The fog of mysteries still remained, a time might come where all was made clear. But it would be more pragmatic and logical to get what I do know straight, rather than think about what I don't know. So what I did know was the culprits behind the serial killings. It was me, Kasumi, and whoever was controlling us. The being Sakura and Rosanka referred to as Mercurius. Could he possess others through occult means, or did he possess some kind of magic to control others with? I had no clue, but anyway, he chose me. And now that I'd become like this, I vow to at least make good use of it. I wouldn't let anyone lay another hand on Kasumi, of course. I wouldn't let her get involved with this again, of course. Strictly speaking, Kasumi seemed to have killed over a dozen people, but this was no longer a matter that could be solved by simply turning herself in or seeking atonement. This had already grown to a bigger problem than that. What happened to us went beyond the boundaries of what the law or mere common sense could resolve. If I harbored any hope of solving this problem, I had to leave behind common sense. Unless I broke its chains, I could never face off against beings that existed beyond its boundaries. I would cast aside common sense, breaking free of the world I'd been a part of up until now. It was hard to explain with words, but I'd come to realize exactly how I was supposed to accomplish that. Sakurai, Rusalka, Wilhelm. I would drag them and the rest of their soon-to-arrive comrades out of the city. No exceptions. I would rid Kasumi and myself of their side. Given my current state, that had to be at least possible. A monster against a monster, irrationality against irrationality, fighting fire with fire. I may not have liked it, but this was unfortunately the only way. That said, I did by no means regret my choice. Kasumi. She didn't need to know any of this. I wouldn't let her go through anything as terrifying or dangerous as that ever again. One could call that self-righteous, but I didn't give a damn about justice or morals. Kasumi meant a lot to me, far more than the lives of strangers. I wouldn't let anyone take her. I'd shoulder all of this by myself. All of the danger, all of the fear, all the sins, and all of the punishment. So she needed to simply take a step out of this world and back into our old one. I'd take care of everything on this side of the equation. She could take that as a promise. I had no intention of letting this messed up situation destroy my world. The reason why I wanted to live, was because that hopelessly boring, yet wonderfully mundane day-to-day life that meant the world to me. I wanted to return to those days, to live in that world, and I wanted to grow old and die like any other person. And in order to one day return, I would now leave it behind. So I would really appreciate it if you could keep your eyes closed for a little while. I never thought it would be this hard to make myself sound as normal as possible.
体調平気か？お前いきなり倒れたんだぞ。こっそり酒でも飲んでたか？
私、倒れたの？
ああ、連れて帰るのに苦労した。
そうなんだ。ごめん。
気にするな。
Shirley appeared to have no memory of the murders. In the end, she was like a sub-unit compared to me. Now that the power had been transferred to me, she no longer possessed those excess memories. Thank goodness, I could at least be grateful for that. I couldn't let her bear the burden of having to live with that. I'd shouldered it all in her stead.
ねえ、なんか、前にもこんなことがあったよね。シロがいなくなっちゃう前に。レン、あの時と同じ顔だよ。何考えてるの？
別に。
It was nothing, no big deal at all. Just something really stupid, much like back then.
お前脱がして着替えさせたの俺だから、そこら辺どう言い訳しようか考えてただけ。
Looks like she'd finally noticed.
バカ、見たな。
悪い。でも雨降ってたから服濡れてたしな。
I got rid of her blood-stained clothes. I'd buy her the same outfit and put it in her closet, and she'd be none the wiser.
しょうがなかったんだよ。多めに見てくれると助かる。
ありがとう。レンなら気にしないよ。
そっか。
ちょっと恥ずかしいけどね。
Looking at the feebly joking Kasumi's face felt like a dagger in my heart. All my crappy acting did was give her more pain.
もう寝ろよ。それでなんだったらお前、しばらく学校休め。
平気だよ。心配性だな。
お前に言われちゃおしまいだ。
Despite cracking jokes, Kasumi soon fell asleep. She looked genuinely exhausted.
安心して寝てろ。
Her nightmare had come to an end. She wouldn't have to worry about a thing.
あとは俺が。
After pulling my right hand to a fist, I opened it again. My wound had now completely healed, leaving behind only a strange sensation. My armor felt heavy as steel, but my bones neither creaked, nor did I experience even the dullest sensation of pain. I knew, not through reasoning or logic, but sheer intuition, that my arm now sheltered a guillotine. It could decapitate people with ease. And so... A burning sensation of pain flared up in my neck, one akin to being cut by a blade. I understood in an instant that this served as the so-called proof of our contract. I ran a finger on my neck, and could tell, even without mirror, exactly what had happened to it. A decapitation scar ran across my neck, the very same mark of the guillotine that the girl had. Seemed like I'd have to cover it with a scar for a little while.
利用したければ利用してみろ。こっちもそうするつもりだからな。
Naturally, my declaration elicited no response. I was simply fortifying my resolve. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of my life in the world of the extraordinary, and I was determined to make sure I survived whatever it decided to throw my way. There LDO in Shambhala 9 out of 13. Well, 4 missing, that's true. Tubal, Kine, Christoph Logrin, Kazik Lubey, Leonhard August, Somkind, Babel Magdalene, Rotespine, Malleus Maleficarum, and Zarathustra. Right. Swastika, 1 out of 8. Chapter 3, End of the Nightmare, End. Okay. The place was a dark room. No, a dark space. It was not completely devoid of light, but what remained amounted to very little indeed. Yet it wasn't like it stood out as for trying to assert a reason for its existence either. To put it more aptly, it yielded before the sheer power of the darkness contained within this space. The darkness lingering here would succumb to no flame, and would remain deep and thick even in the face of 1,000 candles. No mere shadows blanketed the room. The very space itself was dark. The place simply somehow came to possess that property, reflecting the souls of those who would gather here. It was a vast space shaped like a mortar akin to a colosseum. Spots of unrefinement aside, the structure did give a sense of splendor to it, resembling a spacious hall with a massive castle round table. In its center rested a circular table. Well, the same thing that I said, actually, just different word. Jet black in hue and glimmering with luster. It housed 13 seats, followed by 13 hallways leading to each. In other words, this place was built for a mere 13 people. 13. A number of ill omens. Judas Iscariot, death in the Major Arcana, Friday the 13th. People commonly said that the witch's Sabbath was concluded by 13 people, for it was the most suitable number for preparing place to spiritual environment. This very same number referred to Inti and Love with the Gematria. Love and Tea that no doubt were alien to the situation at hand. After all, those kind of affections were things oft manipulated by subjectivity. One could count several vacancies among the seats of the round table. Out of 13, only 8 had been filled. The seats in question were numbers 2. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11. I actually can count in German. Surprisingly, I remember that much. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, and so on. The masters of those 8 had gathered, with heavy silence dominating the other 5. Number 13, so 13, in particular, exuded no presence to be felt whatsoever. Under normal circumstances, if the master or wizard in question was either alive or had left some sort of lingering attachment behind, a vestige of their presence or a fragment of their will would be felt. In this situation, however, it was as though its master was either dead or had simply never had strong feelings for the place that belonged to. However, that concerned none of those present.
感じる。
感じる。
感じるな。
The three muttered amongst themselves in tones of joy, gloominess, and displeasure. The red-haired girl in the seat of Acht was the first to speak up.
痛い。脇腹がうずくように気持ちいい。ハイドリヒ教の影響が私たちにも出始めている。
ああ、まったく懐かしいじゃねえかよ、この感じ。お前は初めての経験だろうが、どう思う？
ウェーレーフィリウスティエライステ。これが清掃のステグマなら光栄だが、彼らは
Sie benoemden Zwölf. Turning towards the 3 empty seats, Kate threw each of them a glance.
私は団の上位にいる方々と面識がない。狩猟副狩猟閣下のことはすでに十分聞き及んでいるが、幹部お三方については知識不足だ。今後対面した時に恥をかかないよう、よければ教えてほしいのだが。
In response,
ウォルフガンク・シュライバー。
Rusalka gleefully uttered one name.
エレオノーレ・フォン・ビッテンブルグ。
Wilhelm casually spat out another.
Getz von Berlichingen.
Finally, Valeria Trifa proudly added the third. Perhaps calling their names held some sort of spiritual significance in this place, for all 3 seats lit up ever so dimly the moment they were uttered. They glowed in white, red, and black, the 3 colors that symbolized the Hakenkreuz.
清掃13騎士団最強の戦士であり、ハイドリヒ教の直属でもある3人の大隊長。言うまでもなく恐ろしい方々ですが、どなたも礼を強要する人格ではありません。そうかしこまる必要はないですよ。
Hell, you never know.
そうね。特にシュライバーは礼なんて概念自体知らないようなやつだから。
Oh.
マキナにしろザミエルにしろ、新参者の小娘一人、今さら眼中にも入れやしねえや。それでも注意することがあるとすれば一つだけ。
ハイドリヒ教に絶対の忠誠を。我々のスティグマは清掃に貫かれた証であり、服従の印です。大隊長殿らはその誓いを我々の数倍強く受けている。故に破る者を許さない。とはいえレオンハルト、この場であなたにそのような心構えを解くのもまた今更な話だ。スティグマがうずく、血を流す。これはすなわちハイドリヒ教がご帰還なされるという前兆であり、スワスチカが機能しだしたという証です。 となれば皆さん、これより我々がなすべきことをいかように考えていらっしゃるか、この場でお聞かせ願いたい。
当然。
Wilhelm let out a snort as if he found it offensive that Trifa would ask such an obvious question.
条件が整ったなら速攻で発動させる。俺らで片っ端から陣を起こしていけばいい。
そしてベルリンの再現ですか？あなたは血の気が多くていけない。欲求不満が溜まっているのはわかりますがね、ことはそう単純ではありませんよ。副首領閣下の術について我々は知らぬことが多すぎる。もし仮に先走ってスワスチカの一角でも発動不能にしてみなさい。全てが水泡に帰してしまう。
おい、ならクリストフ、てめえが予言でもしてくれるのかよ。
さて、私に神の声が聞けるとは思えませんがね。あなたでもそのような信仰を持っているのですか、米中尉。
Maybe.
堕落司祭が抜かしやがる。おとぼけはいらねえ。たるいこと言ってんじゃねえよ。てめえはなんだ、俺らを抑えて何企んでる。
企むとはまた人聞きの悪い。私はただスワスチカを完成させる順序を見極めようとしているだけですよ。
順序。
レオン、この手の問題はね、アルスマグナになればなるほど融通が利かないものなのよ。手順、法則、公式、条件、魔導も科学も思想も政治も、高度なものほど厳格な決まりなしには回らない。まるでお役所仕事みたいな感じで面倒なのよ、基本的に。どこから一体どのようにどれくらいの規模で進めていくのが正解なのか、まずはそれを見極めないとね。まあレイがイラつくのもわかるけどさ、私だって実際のとこ気持ち穏やかじゃないんだよね。ここ最近誰かさんの命令で半端ばっかり踏まされてさ。
つまらん理屈屋の論理に付き合ってもう60年待たされちゃたまんねえぞ。おいクリストフ、考えてもみろ、思い出せ。メルクリウスの術に穴はねえ。忌々しいが野郎は正真正銘の化け物だったろ。
The darkness in the space began to sway. Each of those currently present had their own ideas in mind regarding those words. For Wilhelm had just uttered something nearing the realm of taboo.
手順？法則？ああ、それは確かにあるだろうぜ。だが俺らの行動がそいつを壊すって確証は。いや、てめえ、壊せるとでも思ってるのか？
In other words,
我々の一挙一動例外なく副首領閣下の手のひらの上であると驚きましたね、米中尉。あなたの口からまさかそのような言葉が聞けるとは。
っていうかあなた、適当な理屈つけて暴れちゃいたいだけじゃないの？
否定はしねえよ。だがな、
これ以上後手に回るつもりもない。誤差は攻めながら修正すればよいとおっしゃる。困りましたね。
despite his words, Trifa's lips slithered into a broad smile. The priest may have been thinking the very same thing, surprisingly enough. Or perhaps they all did.
我々ごときが占領したところでことはなるようにしかならず、決まっているものは揺るがない。ならば小賢しい議論などやめ、ただの暴力装置として意義を発揮すればよいと。なるほど。いかにもあなたらしく暴論ながら的を射ている。とはいえまだ残念ながらホロコーストを承認するわけにはいきませんよ。
Yeah, don't you dare.
なぜだ？
ごくごく個人的な事情ですが、その前に知っておきたいことがありましてね。いわゆる鬼の犬間にというやつです。
鬼？
I don't know how that saying goes. Quickly. You know, they probably will tell us, but we have our sources of information as well, and we can basically check it out whenever we want, kind of. When the cat's away, the mice will play! Oh, okay, I knew about that actually, but I didn't remember at all. I don't remember sayings at all, to be honest, even the Polish ones.
ちょっとクリストフ、今のセリフは不敬なんじゃないかしら？
罰はハイドリヒ教がご帰還なされた後に慎んで受けますよ。ともかくこれはあなた方のためでもある。わがままと取られても仕方ありませんが、願わくば今しばらくの静観を。よろしいですか、皆さん。
まあわかったわよ。あと一度だけあなたの顔を立ててあげる。
現在の最高指揮権があなたにある以上、私も従うまでですが。
結構。それで米中尉は？
いいだろう。
Greedy Steve Wilhelm gave an ode.
あんたのことだ。どうせえげつねえこと考えてるんだろうがよ。俺も長くは待てねえぞ。
もちろん数日中に結論が出るはずです。彼も到着したことですしね。
Trifa directed his gaze at the seat of Tane. In its deliberately thin, spider-like man with abnormally long limbs. It felt strange, thoroughly peculiar. After all, the other man and woman gathered in this place were, well, of exceptional looks. Did they not pride themselves on their excellence, being unmatched in browns and brains and beauty alike as the elected handful, the chosen few? After having invited all the gazes of those present, the peculiar-looking man rose from his seat with a sinister smile on his lips.
久しぶりの再会早々恐縮ですが、生産杯芸家のご意向を尊重するため、しばらくの間私の指示に従っていただきたい。ついてはレオンハルト、あなたに少々協力してほしいことがありましてね。
私に？
ええ、あなたにしかできません。米もマレウスもバビロンも残念ながら役者不足。カインは初めから論外ですし、増年金とは未だ協力的とは言えません。
What's with the poses, actually, with the hand on the hip, both of you?
あなただからお願いする。美しくなられたお嬢さん、返答はいかに？
After throwing glance rife with suspicion at Trifa, Kay spoke up.
いいだろう。私にできることなら協力する。
結構。決まりましたね。ではそのように。
The divine Vizel's mouth curved into a confident smile. None of the others vetoed the decision. For the priest's smile rekindled memories of dread and graved deep into the souls of all present, save for Kay. The memory of the destructive and absolute smile that belonged to the aberration they knew as the Golden Beast. The Golden Beast, you say? Chapter 4, Odessa. So basically, do we move to Ukraine now? This is where Odessa is, right? Or maybe not. Or, well, aside from Ukraine, maybe some ancient Greece. Anyway, how many people could place complete and absolute faith in their own ability of self-restraint?
最近はもう綾瀬さんの稽古に付き合ったりしないんだね。
Well, As I entered the rooftop, which had become my staple place of escape, I was addressed by a voice that had also become somewhat a staple of the place.
っていうか君、綾瀬さんと話してる？そういう状況見ないんだけど。別に喧嘩してるわけじゃないんだよね。どうなの、藤井君？
別に。
I gave a half answer and leaned against the fence. I wasn't going to do something like sit next to her on the bench. Never again.
喧嘩なんかしてないですよ。ただ、
何？
ちょっと一人になりたいんで。
それはつまり、私もどっか行けっていうことかな。
え
え。ショック。
Ouch. She may have said that, but her face was an expression, as expressionless as always. By the way, we've had this kind of question every time over the past few days.
私は君を構ってるわけじゃなくて、ただこの場所が好きっていうだけなんだけどね。君はここ以外で一人になれそうな場所を知らないの？
ええ。
困ったね。
そうですね。
And as we repeated this pointless conversation all the while avoiding eye contact, the long-awaited bell rang.
お昼休みおしまい。
It was annoying when I got dragged into her flow, but at times like this I felt grateful for it. After all, she didn't try to get in my way of skipping classes. There was a clear difference between her and Kasumi. That said, now I could finally take a breather, just as I heaved a mental sigh of relief.
じゃあ、バイバイ。私行くから。あと藤井くん。もし寒かったらだけど。
すみません。急に寄ってこられたからびっくりしたっていうか。
ショック。藤井くんなんか嫌いだ。
And with that, Himuro left the roof.
くそ。
Ouch. Well. I ended up sitting down where I stood. I felt a mixture of guilt and self-loathing well up in me at once, but I was in no position to go after her and try to ease things up. It had only been 3 days since I put an end to the serial killings. There wouldn't be any more murders. I wouldn't let there be any more. I swore that I'd keep the people around me from getting involved with all this. Especially Kasumi, since she had no memories of those days, she continued to lead a normal, peaceful life as long as I kept quiet. Sakurai and Rutsalka seemed to no longer have any interest in her either. But the possibility of her getting involved again would rise substantially with every minute she spent with me. Still, the bigger problem was... My neck ached like this from time to time. I felt a coiling discomfort, like something digging me from the inside of my skull through my cervical vertebra. Well, and I couldn't for the life of me shake it off. Furthermore, I'd been getting waves of thunder just billowing within me each time it happened. Just a minute ago, I couldn't take my eyes off of the nape of Himuro's neck. This was trouble. As in, seriously dangerous. That was the reason I'd avoided interacting with others, including Kasumi. I had no idea what would happen if I let my guard down for even a second. So my best course of action would probably include running away from home and laying low in parts unknown. I was actually tempted to do just that, but changed my mind before I could act on it. Judging from what Rusalka said the other day, those guys had business with the school itself. Considering she'd been skipping school ever since, with only Sakurai showing up, I figured she might have been full of shit. But I was still really worried. If those psychos did something in this school when I wasn't around to do anything about it, I was sure I'd regret it for the rest of my life. The fact remained that I was putting this place in more danger just by being here. On the other hand, I wasn't sure if I could live with myself in case something happened while I was away. So was I supposed to stay or leave? It all came down to that ultimate choice, and in the end I chose the former. For I honestly wasn't confident that the answer produced from my cornered mindset could be the correct one.
抑え込むのにここくらい適した場所もないしな。
The fact I could picture the worst case scenario here with the utmost sense of reality made it the most likely place where I would retain my sanity, despite the situation. And that was the second reason why I'd go to school instead of hiding. In all honesty, I felt terrible about exposing all the students to such danger with this reckless gamble of mine, but unless I did something I'd... A text? A certain condition and actually welled up within me. I reflexively took out my phone and opened it. Sure enough. Stay on the roof until school ends, I'll see you then. Sakurai. Where the hell did she get my number from? To be honest, this was the turn of events I'd been waiting for. Well, I don't know what you are stressed about right now, but whatever. But during that, I did my best to stop myself from shivering. In my current state, I feel confident I could. Sacred shortly before sunset.
Amantes.
I decided not to ask the obvious question of how she knew my phone's address or that I was on the roof. Asking someone some normal scare would have been pointless. The light of dusk on the rooftop reminded me of the sounds in the dream. The place now looked just how it did when Shiro and I had the fight. Jesus, talk about an ominous place and time. Nothing that could happen here would surprise me at this point.
こうした話をするのはあの夜以来になるけれど、調子はどう？なんて愚問か。辛そうね。
Sakurai spoke in a very business-like tone, her voice exhibiting little to no emotion. Yet even that voice of hers made me antsy. It felt it felt akin to a kind of suffocating craving. I wished I could slice her head off right here and now. That sort of impulse. And try, give it a shot. I mean, she was the opponent. I mean, yeah. And I was pretty confident that I could very well do it. I had to calm myself. It was not yet time for that.
わかるのか？
ええ、私もそれは経験したから。正直、少し驚いてる。ずいぶん我慢してるみたいだけど、よくないわよ、そういうの。
何が？
ずっと2のままだから。言ったと思うけど、足し算続けていかないと強くなんかならないわよ。そのままで勝てるなんて思わない方がいい。
Well, on the other hand, you say that, but what if he's holding back, like totally during the fight when he unleashes everything, you will be totally destroyed. That's also a possibility. Not yet, I need to restrain myself. I still had things to ask her. After inhaling deep, shaky breath, I spoke up.
勝てると思うなって、お前たちにか。
違う。それによ。ねえ藤井君、少し落ち着いてくれないかしら。それがどれだけ難しいかは理解してるつもりだけど、今のところあなたに対して敵意はないから。信じられない？何も言わないなら都合のいいように解釈するわよ。あなた、私に聞きたいこととかあるでしょ。マレウスよりは親切だって自信もある。彼女と違って日本人だし、年も同じはずだからね。共感できる部分ももしかしたらあるかもしれないし。
年？
そう。彼女はああ見えて私たちの15倍近く生きているから。嘘じゃないわよ。
What? Okay, so you are in high school, right? Basically, where was the? I will use the app for that because why not? Where's that freaking calculator? God damn it! There it is. All right, you are in high school, right? Well, maybe not Kay, right? She might be a bit older still. But Ren, let's say somehow, well, he's not on the freaking first year, right? So, but let's say he's the youngest version, right? So 15 years old times 15 times 15. It's 225 years, right? Kind of. So how 2006 and 1945 is only 61 years? So what the hell? How can she be so old if the war ended only this many years ago? This doesn't make any sense, or she just can't do any maths at all. Seriously. I could neither laugh nor get angry at that. She claimed to be a witch. Oh yeah, she had that witchy power of a witch, witch's power, kind of. Well, healing and so on. Maybe she's from before the war as well, and she lived that long somehow. Well, that doesn't make sense at all. Never mind. Now that I thought about it, she did say something along those lines, didn't she?
どうやら少しだけ落ち着いてくれたようね。それでまず私の方から聞いておきたいことなんだけど、あなたは今私たちを敵視してる？
Yes.
今の俺が友好的に見えるのか？
My approach won't change probably.
見えないわね。
Sakura don't mock him chuckle.
でも私が聞いてるのはそういうことじゃない。あなたの誠意の形を聞きたい。
To erase you all?
防衛なのか公正なのか、つまり買う気なのか売る気なのか。
Doesn't matter.
それは
Honestly, that sounds like a real difficult question. But I had no intention of leaving them alone, nor did I expect them to do the same with me. In fact, on that night.
お前ら戦争をしに来たって言っただろう。
ええ。そして開戦はまだ伸びるかもしれないとも。こちらの事情はそんな感じよ。というか、あなたがそんなざまだから伸びてると言った方がいいのかしらね。まあそれは後で説明するとして、まずこちらの質問に答えてよ。買う気なのか売る気なのか。
Well, who said that the tactics can't change with the flow of the game? Huh?
多分あなたはこう考えてる。俺とかすみがお前らのせいでこうなったのなら違うかしら。
違わない。
そう。でもね藤井君、私たちが来ても来なくてもあなたはそうなっていたはずよ。いえ、あなたがそうなると分かっていたから私たちが来たと言うべきかしら。
Look, I smell bullshit here. Just before you said that you appeared there by coincidence. How can you trust someone like that?
つまりお前たちがあらかじめ仕組んでたってことだろう。
Sakura took my glare head on, then followed it up with a note.
ええ。それが何？
なんだと？
The sheer bluntness of her attitude made my mind boil. So it really was their fault that Kasumi. That I...
落ち着きなさいよ。
Okay, can you not get so close?
肥大化した公正性とそれに伴う理性の摩耗。典型的ね。
And you are afraid of that.
あなたこのままだと狂うわよ。
You know, well, if he went crazy, madness would boil in him. He might be easily defeat you, probably, I guess.
うるせえ。
That's possible. I couldn't hold back. She was enemy. Hell, I had doubts she was even human. She was not. In that case, it would be fine, right? I could just do it. There was no one else around, and it would be done. It would be one-on-one. Okay, that's... No. That's not going to happen. Let's not go that far, okay? That's no. That's a no from me. No, I'm not allowing such doings, man. After all, this wouldn't be the first time. What?
つまり、売る気ね。
A month later, my black slumped in the wall, accompanied by a shock strong enough to take my breath away and make my ears ring.
なら、買ってあげてもいいんだけど。でもその前に、もう少しだけお話ししましょう。
Step away, bitch! Once I opened my eyes, I saw the grey face just a few centimeters away from mine. She uncovered me and practically pinned me to the wall, robbing me of my freedom. From this distance, I could see how surprisingly slender her body was. I felt her heartbeat through our overlapping chests. Ransoms and I, indescribable chill rushed up my spine. A frozen rhythm like still cold water. An abnormality that even someone like me without medical knowledge, or rather that was precisely the reason why I could instinctively tell. This was not the heartbeat of a normal human, no way in hell.
離れろ。
どうして？
気持ち悪いんだよ。
Exactly!
失礼ね。
Why? It's not rude at all, to be honest, in this situation. I could move. The part of me that irritated my emotions was being efficiently pinned down, especially my right hand, which was being pushed to the wall by Kay's left. Therefore, she pushed with left trunks running through the wall. No woman, or rather no regular human, could exhibit such strength. More importantly, for
痛くないでしょ？
that was the real enigma here. My arm was being driven into a concrete wall, yet I barely felt any pain. Why in the world?
麻痺しているわけじゃないわよ。今のあなたのこれが正常な感覚。これくらいじゃ痛いなんて思えない。
In other words, pain was certainly a signal sent to inform you that your body was in danger. There were two primary reasons I could think of why I was not feeling anything, and Sakurai denied the first one, so...
蚊に刺されて痛がる人はいないでしょ。そういうことよ、藤井君。
Not always, to be honest.
私たちはね、とても鈍感になっていく。痛みに縁遠くなればなるほど、他人の痛みもわからなくなる。
Yeah, if you could take that face away, that would be great.
だからあなたの気持ちとか、私よくわからないの。何に怒っているのか多少はさせられるけど、それもいまいちピンとこないし。そのことを前提にして聞かせてもらうわ。ここで、本当に私とやる気？
Now that I think about it, where is the freaking, scar on his neck? I mean, he's not hiding it at all, so where is it? Did it disappear? Somehow?
あまり思い上がらないでほしいわね。あなたはまだ、私たちに及ばない。ああ、それともあれかしら。前にマレウスが言っていたけど。
Unshakable conviction, the pure knowledge of a certain thing. The belief that I was not meant to die here.
違う。
I didn't blindly believe in something like that.
そう。だったら、アドバイスをしてあげるわ。言ったでしょ？あなた、このままだと狂うって。
The scar on my neck aged the moment I heard the whisper into my ear, her voice sultry, almost seductive. Okay, that's bullshit. It wasn't seductive at all. Where is that freaking scar for? I don't see it. I felt an urge to kill and devour, to cut off her head, to end her right here and now. Do it. Even I could tell my eyes were starting to fill up with the urge to kill, but Sakurai didn't seem even slightly fazed by it.
殺し役を奪ったのに殺さないなんて矛盾してるわ。ストレス溜まって我慢できなくなってるんでしょ。
Wanna bet?
わかるわ、それ。私たちみんなが通ってきた道だもの。
Well, doesn't change the fact I will freaking destroy you. Sakurai knew the true nature of these destructive impulses welling up in me. She must have gone through them too.
経験したってさっき言ったな。
ええ。今から11年前に。
Then you are freaking old! Compared to him, go away! Ah, those retards being old and returning to freaking school. Ah, disgusting!
その時お前は
子供だったし、我慢
Okay.
なんかできなかったわよ。もっとも、 それでよかったと今は思う。
Well, if that's what you mean, then well, fine. If you were a child 11 years ago, then I guess it would be possible for you to be a freaking teenager. But now that I think about it... Yeah, the immortality and stuff, why do they always end up in high school, right? It's disgusting.
これはね、藤井君。
Sakura looked deep into my eyes and spoke as if she was whispering to something so within me, damn.
あなたの何十倍も歴史を重ねて、何百何千も殺してきた人食いなの。20年そこらの人生やモラルで対抗できる相手じゃない。
So you are older! Damn it! Can you stop freaking...
私たちの中でも、初めからこれを御せた人はゼロだって聞いているし。
Challenge accepted, right?
実際、あなたがどれだけ我慢強いのかは知らないけど。
Pity and self-delusion mingled in Sakura's tone as she continued. But it all lasted but a second as Sakura shifted back to her pure seductive tone. Okay, there was no seductive tone at all before!
無理しないで。溜まってるなら吐き出しなさいよ。私が教えてあげるから。
How about you go away?
お前が？
綾瀬さんや氷室先輩じゃ無理でしょ？こんなことしてあげられるの。私以外に誰がいるのよ。
Well, you see, I don't really like being taught by anyone, so I would prefer to learn that by myself. Goodbye! No, seriously, I really don't like to be taught by anyone.
日本人だし、同い年だし。それに、あなた好みだしね。
And you are not mine! Damn it! Go away!
大丈夫よ。優しくしてあげるから。
As she uttered that, the grip Sakura held my right hand and grew stronger. It crushed my flesh and made my bones creak. Maybe it had already broken a while back. But the pain was faint. In fact, it rather felt uncomfortable for some inexplicable reason. A bizarre itchiness ran through my spine, almost like a sign that I would soon shed my skin.
私と戦いたいならその後で。まずは同じ土俵に立ってから。
You know, you can always headbutt her. I mean, that would be not nice, but, well, whatever.
ねえ、どうするの？
俺は。
I will. What do you think? Alright. I will save the game first, obviously. What do you... No, that does... whatever.
わかった。
Saying that, I put my hand between our chests and pried Sakurai off of me. She moved away with surprisingly little resistance.
腕は平気？
ああ。
I proceeded to lift my right arm out of the wall, and one's arm would have been broken after being put through all that, yet mine didn't even have a single scratch on it. Damn it, I was already somewhat aware of this, but now I had finally become a monster. But possibly due to that realization as well as the fact that Sakurai overpowered me earlier, my soon-to-explode mental state seemed to have cooled down a bit.
もしかして、お前俺に何かしたのか？
ええ。あなたにその方法を教えてあげる。
どうして？
I hate you.
善意じゃあないけどね。私には私の都合があるのよ。
But to be honest, they would be kicked out of this town, right?
それで、確認しておくけど、まだ私のことが嫌いかしら？
No, that's actually the moment I started to hate you, damn it! I don't like her. I really don't like
じゃ
her.
ないな。
Thank you! But...
今のところ、売る気は失せた。
素直で結構。じゃあこの続きは夜にしましょう。10時頃に正門のところで待ってるから。
No, thank you. No, not interested. Not interested!
心配しなくても、しばらく抑えていられるはずよ。私の方が位階は上だし、それくらいの強制はかけたから。
No one is superior to me, sorry.
じゃあ、後でね。
Someone who claims to be superior is freaking weakly. in that case, actually. And just like that, Sakura left the roof. As I watched her go, a question abruptly hit me. She might be bad news, but would it have been even more dangerous to keep things going as they were now? Eh? And thus in the end I came to a decision without even pondering it. That it's time to end the episode. So anywho, hope you enjoyed it, and I guess we... Unfortunately, we will be betrayed by her, and that pains me. That really pains me. I don't like her, to be honest. I really don't. She might be helping us, but I know her actual goal is to devour the city, and I don't like that. I mean, think about it. They want to destroy the city, and with that goes the people, and with that goes the Kasumi. We can't allow that. So, basically the tactics will be, even though I had been taught by anyone, we are training them, getting superpowers, well, super levels of the power, destroy them, and get back to peaceful life. We can do it. I believe in that. Anywho, hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one tomorrow. Bye bye.